The boy dipped his hand into the inky black sea, and right then, something weird happened. A huge, rainbow-hued creature leaped out of the water, and before he knew it, it was standing right in front of him. But here's the thing, the boy wasn't scared at all. In fact, he felt a strange sense of familiarity with the beast. Turns out, it was a magical seahorse. Folks said anyone who caught a glimpse of one would get showered with good luck. After the boy gave the seahorse a quick hello, he and his friends climbed onto its back, and they set off across the ocean. At first, the seahorse zoomed through the waves like a rocket, but it didn't take long before it slowed down and stopped next to a yacht. The boy and his friends stepped inside, and that's when a monster suddenly popped out. They knew trouble was brewing, so they bolted back outside to hide, only to find another monster blocking their way. Scared out of their wits, they tried to run the other direction, but the first monster had brought backup and cut them off. Before they could blink, the monsters locked them up in a cell. But Jack, he wasn't one to let a little jail cell stop him. He pulled out a roll of tape, stuck it to the iron cell door, and just like that, the door vanished. By the time the monsters figured out something was wrong, Jack and his friends had already hopped on a speedboat and taken off. They thought they were finally in the clear until they looked around and saw they were surrounded by sharks. Fear froze them in their tracks, but Jack snapped into action. He and his friends grabbed the oars and rowed as fast as their arms could go. But to their horror, the shark fins around them just kept getting taller, and in the blink of an eye, the speedboat was completely surrounded. Before Jack could even react, a massive vortex opened up in the middle of the ocean, sucking every drop of water into it. That's when Jack and his friends finally realized what they were up against. This wasn't a pack of sharks. Those sharp, pointed fins were actually the teeth of Charybdis, the legendary sea monster that guarded the Sea of Monsters. But by the time they put it all together, it was too late. The speedboat started inching toward the vortex. They clung to the sides of the boat for dear life, but there was no fighting the pull. Soon, all three of them were dragged down into Charybdis' throat. After a wild, bumpy ride, Jack and his friends landed inside the monster's stomach unscathed. When Jack finally caught his breath and looked up, he gasped. The ground was covered in the wreckage of ships and planes. The legends were true. Everything that had vanished in the Bermuda Triangle had been swallowed by this sea monster. Not long after being swallowed, Jack heard a strange noise echoing through the darkness. He and his friends followed the sound, and sure enough, they found a military vessel that had also been eaten by Charybdis. And on that ship, Lucy, Jack's best friend. They were just about to catch up when the ship lurched violently. Charybdis' stomach had started digesting, and rows of razor-sharp serrated teeth were grinding up everything in sight. But just when things looked hopeless, Jack had a brilliant idea. He scrambled up to the ship's turret and opened fire on Charybdis' stomach wall. In no time, he blew a hole through the monster's tough membrane, and a flood of seawater came rushing in. "Lucy, fire up the engines!" Jack yelled. Lucy hit the gas, and the ship raced toward the hole. With a deafening crash, the ship burst through Charybdis' body. They surfaced just in time, narrowly escaping before the rough waves could tear the boat apart. But Jack and Lucy didn't have time to celebrate. They still had a way more important mission to finish.